Hi, it's Addie Kelzer with Urban Fitness Twin Cities, and today Keita and I are going to be modeling an exercise for you that we really this came about via a client request. We had a couple people asking us about how to avoid getting that hump that can happen sometimes as we age. You'll hear it called a widow's stoop, a dowager's hump. I think also in that same category would be tech's neck. So they're kind of combined, and what happens is we see, and I'll have you just kind of get into that position, and we're not poking fun at all. It's just this happens if we're not paying attention to our posture, because the world has us doing lots of different things on screens, keyboards, sitting, etc. This posture position can happen over time. So I'm actually going to sneak over to this side. So what we see is a increased curvature of the thoracic spine, and then we see an increased curvature of the cervical spine, because her head is usually going to be forward in this position, and then in order to still see her day and be able to look up, that's where we get that increase in curvature here. So what we want to do is, let's focus on the neck for just this one. This is a really nice physical therapy type exercise where you're not really focused on moving anything else, except for we're going to try and move her ear to where it's in line with her shoulders. So right now you can see that it's actually pretty far forward of her shoulder, and we're going to try and move it back to anatomical position. So I want you to think about the very base of your skull. So this is your occipital bones back here. I want you to think about pulling this portion of your skull back so that it comes up on top of your shoulders a little bit more. A really common, so right now, I'm kind of looking in the mirror for reference, she's a lot closer to having her ear on top of the middle of her shoulder here. I want you to go back to that position you're in first. I would say very common is that we will have clients work on this exercise and they want to lead from up here. So then what do we get? We get even more of a curvature of the cervical spine, which is totally the opposite of what we're looking for. So by pulling from the occipital bone back, so the very base of your skull is what's coming back, we're actually starting to lengthen through here. And this is a really nice exercise to do up against the wall. So Keita, I'm going to have you turn and actually place your back up against the wall. So if she's in that first posture, her head is away, she's got a couple of inches here, and then if she draws the base of her skull back, she's going to end up actually touching and getting that tactile cue. Now, if this has progressed to where you're quite far forward, you might not be able to get back all the way, but we want to see a little bit of improvement of that practice of pulling yourself back up over your shoulders. So leave your ego at the door, get yourself some double chin by drawing that occipital bone back up and over your shoulders. And you might notice a lot of stretching happening back here if it is lengthened and weak over time.
One other thing I'd like to add is that on top of trying to go up and back, some people overcompensate and they go too far down, which gives them even more of a double chin. Instead, I like to tell my clients, you're trying to keep your chin parallel to the floor, so that, or perpendicular to your spine, depending on which way you like to think of it, so that it doesn't drop down, but it doesn't lift up. It pulls back so that you have a nice right angle between your chin and your throat.
All right, so try these exercises, and remember that form is very important, but getting some of them done is better than none.